What's up, everyone? Welcome to this episode of Becoming the 1% Podcast. My guest today is CJ Kobliska. He is the Director of Research and Development Programming at Gymnazo. So today we're going to talk about functional movement patterns. We're going to talk about proprioception. We're going to talk about health and wellness in the industry that we are both in, what you should look for in a trainer, what you should be implementing for your recovery. I hope you guys enjoy it. It's a really fun episode.
This episode of Becoming the 1% Podcast.
Entrepreneurial. We got some really big things coming.
You have to have the willingness.
It's an A or B.
Try and use it as a tool.
This is phenomenal.
All details make up a person.
That's what we believe in the industry.
CJ, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming, man.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, man. How was the flight?
Oh, it was easy. It's a 2-hour.
Where was it from again?
From SLO, San Luis Obispo.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Our gym is right at the parking lot, basically, of the airport. So I park, walk over.
Yeah.
Free parking.
San Luis Obispo, how far away from that? How far away from Mark Bell are you?
He's up in Sacramento, so about 5 hours.
About 5 hours.
Yeah.
I was about to say it's actually probably further to get to him than it would be to get here. Yeah.
If
you drove to Phoenix,
it was like an 11-hour drive.
Oh, is it really?
'Cause
Oh,
you're down-
yeah. Okay. No,
down and out.
yeah. You're 100% right. So you flew in, and what'd you do? I mean, you've done Camelback already.
Yeah, I mean, got in last night. I was like, I need to start doing something. So I met up with an old member of ours that used to work out with us a few years back.
Yeah.
His boys played college ball, baseball, and football.
Oh, sick.
And so it was good to meet up with him and grab a few beers, kind of set the tone for what's to come. I forgot what day it was this morning. I'm like, I just know I'm going out.
That's how you know you're having a good time.
Yeah. Woke up early, took a sunrise hike, got a little workout locally at Body, and
Yeah.
now we're here.
Oh, Body. That's our cousin. His sister
Oh, no
works at Body. She's the manager, manager.
It was a good time. They're so nice.
Yeah. No,
Kick-ass
it's a great
workout.
little
Little
spot. How awesome is Camelback on the sunrise?
Oh my gosh, man.
It's
I
pretty
was out in
incredible.
the sandals, and it was like the slow red
I saw you in the
glow.
sandals.
Gets kind of orange, and the sun's out. And
Oh, yeah.
the breeze at the top. You're like, oh, it's kind of a little brisk up here.
There's nothing like hiking in the state of Arizona. It's truly special. It's not any... I mean, there's definitely places that are more difficult. He's from Alaska. There's places out there that are just insane. But there's something unique about the desert hiking. It's very cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get out to Sedona for a bit too and experience.
Have you ever been to Sedona?
No, I've only heard.
It's going
only
to
seen.
blow your mind.
Where should I go?
Where should you go?
Yeah.
Hikes. You gotta
Yeah.
do Bell Rock. Bell Rock is so fun. Each mountain, and look, I mean, I didn't all the way prescribe to the whole each mountain is a vortex. Every vortex has a different energy. Like you go out there, just go into one of the tea shops and they'll break it down for you. They're obsessed with it. But I will say each hike, when you get like each mountain range, definitely has a different feeling to it. It's just so Bell Rock is awesome. Cathedral is amazing. Devil's Bridge is not as challenging as the name insinuates. It's relatively easy, but it's very cool. It's that really cool picture you see where people are standing on the bridge, like across the mountain range. So all three of those are probably my favorites. But it's more so the community of Sedona that makes it really cool. Everybody out there is like us. Like everybody's real fit and active and just kind of positive and outgoing. It's a really, really fun environment.
What's up with the vortexes out there? I mean, I heard you can experience some things out there.
It depends on what types of psychedelics you're open to experimentation with. And I've never progressed beyond mushrooms, but I mean, I could tell you it's a very, very unique place on Earth. And I've been to a lot of places. I've seen a lot of really cool, mountainscapes, Utah, Colorado, but there's nothing else in this world like Sedona. When you see it and when you're in there, you really do feel like, okay, if I was a Native American local, I could see why I would believe that the gods settled here. I could feel that out, and I could come to that conclusion on my own without anyone telling me. It feels very.
It's kind of like walking in here. You kind of got to soak it in. There's so much to take in. I mean, being in this room, it's one of those things that you're like, I'm just catching things off the side of my eye. I'm like, holy shit, there's a rabbit hole there. My God.
Yeah, it's a fun, upbeat energy, and I'm a big believer in that. I think the environment you create will create the mood that you feel when you're in it. And that's it's been one of my ongoing problems with a lot of the public gym spacing. You find that most corporate, big box gyms, it's like, all right, the walls are gray or they're taupe. The machines are, probably silver or black or something. It's just, it's very, it doesn't inspire me. I go in there, like if I'm on vacation, really the only time I ever end up in a public gym is if something, like I'm on vacation. And I'll go in and it's always I think it's important for me to do that because I am reminded as to what the difference is from the perspective of the community versus mine. And this is what they're used to. And that's important for me to at least stay connected in some way to the understanding that, wow, this really is depressing. This would be hard for me to get everything done if I was stuck in this environment.
Well, you said something about setting up the environment too. Like at my house, I've slowly been turning my dojo into something that feels more like a space of creation and opportunity and exploration. And it started out just being a garage, and I had my motorcycle and a bike and a desk in there. And then the pandemic hit and slowly pulled stuff out, sold stuff, and brought in some driftwood and some rocks and some shells, kind of bringing that earthy. I live by the beach, so it's nice to bring that into the space.
Do you live by the beach? Is your house?
It's about 10 miles from it.
Okay.
So we can go north.
So
Yeah,
definitely,
it's close.
definitely close
we
enough.
Go there every day. Yeah.
Yeah. That's sick, man. So backing up, how did you find yourself into this business? How did you get into this industry to begin with?
Officially, about 10 years ago. I've been an athlete my whole life and experienced a lot of injuries and my own success in training and kind of the ups and the downs of athleticism and sport and teamwork and stuff. So it all kind of put me on a path to want to share what I had experienced. So I went to college at Poly and went into kinesiology, got more of a robust knowledge in anatomy, physiology.
How was their program?
It was a good time.
Yeah.
They got a good program. I met some really good people, some very successful people now too. And I felt like I had a good foundation set from it.
Yeah.
I had the college experience as well. There was the school and then education piece of it. And then there's the experience of getting out on your own.
Don't let college experience get in the way of your education.
Right. So, that's why I didn't go into college sports mostly. I had some injuries and stuff that kind of set me back. But
what sports did you play prior to college?
I was in football and wrestling.
Oh,
and
wow.
some
Yeah, I was
volleyball.
about to say, you look like a wrestler.
And a lot of just running around, free running. So I'd love to be outside and just kind of explore new skills and new abilities and the high of learning something new and then being able to push the capacity of that and have it feed this kind of inner fire. Yeah. I wanted others to be able to experience that, and I felt like I had a lot to share. So through kinesiology, I'd end up having to do an internship to graduate. And at the same time, I was like needing to graduate, needing an internship, didn't have one. This place, Gymnazo, had 2 representatives come in to a nutrition class of mine and shared this opportunity to do a 10-week unpaid, but get college credit for your internship experience. And it absolutely transformed what I didn't know I could do, essentially, which is to serve through movement and to help people build communication with their own body and to have some meaning to it, not just as something you check off the list, but something that you can embody and you have for your whole life if you practice it often.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of your movements, and looking, at the screen right here is a good one. A lot of your stuff does feel like you use the term flow. That's a very good descriptor. What exactly? Because this is not something you'll find a lot of people inside of the gym doing. Exactly. This is not. If you were in LA Fitness doing this, and this looks like a very elite facility you're in, but if you were in an LA Fitness doing something like this, people would probably walk by and
hopefully they'd ask a question.
I would hope so
curious,
too. Yeah.
Instead of going, what the. What's going on over there, dude? That's some ridiculous stuff. Like, ask why.
What brought you to this type of movement pattern? Is this the way Gymnazo taught?
So I was first exposed to essentially this combination of science, of applied functional science with behavioral sciences, physics, and biological sciences, and how to understand how these three have an interplay when you're coaching and training somebody, and also when you're training your own body. How can you communicate within your environment, your actual physics of it, and put some terms to it so you can recognize the constraint that may be placed on us or that we place on ourselves. And then in terms of the biology, just understanding the anatomy, the physiology, bones and muscles, and a lot more about proprioceptors and movement is what teaches the muscles and the bones to work versus you just train the muscles what to do. So it opened up another box of exploring how to help somebody discover new skills, was not to just focus on the muscle work, but on the skill work and the coordination. And then in the terms of the behavioral sciences, you're working with somebody's psyche. You might learn a lot in school. I learned a lot in school, but not necessarily how to work with people and serve in a community. It was more like, I have these foundational skills, but how do I apply them with somebody who's 50 years older than me, 60 years older than me? How do I build rapport and trust? How do I get them to understand that I'm not in their shoes, but I can help them build a bridge to where they want to be because I'm aware of why their body's acting in a certain way.
Absolutely.
And that came from Gray Institute, and they're based in Michigan. And I went through the CAFS. It's certified in applied functional science, just online, a few hours of work.
You have your CS too, right?
Yep. Yeah. CSCS.
It's awesome.
That came later. I wanted to revisit that.
That's a big certification.
And it was awesome. I studied for that, the shit out of that. And
yeah, I bet.
Yes, finally.
Yeah.
But through the Gray Institute, I learned a lot of all these ways to serve people in a therapeutic sense, and we wanted to bring that into fitness. And Gymnazo was based on the foundation of Gray Institute's work, and we opened a facility. Michael Hughes started it in a small gym downstairs in a studio, and it started gathering attention. And then people were coming. He's like, "We need space," so opened up a new spot that was 3,000 square feet. And that's when I started with them. They had just moved, and we were there for about a year and a half, and then moved into our big warehouse, 13,000 square feet. That's just an open portal of space to train.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love the crossover that a lot of your movements have to actual functional movement patterns in real life. There are several ways that I think the training community could improve. That's one of them. Coaches, I'll back up and say even beyond coaches, especially influencer coaches, need to understand that there's a big difference between the applied exercise you can put onto your body and see a result versus the applied exercise you need to understand on someone else's body. Using the analogy that you just beautifully put, somebody 50 years older than you is going to have an entirely different set of dilemmas than you do, especially if you're a 20-year-old coach. Would you say that is one of the most important things coaches need to realize early on, is that I need to figure out how this applies to someone else, not to myself?
Yeah, I think it's important if you want to expand and grow and not cut yourself into a small corner of what you can do. I think many coaches have a larger ability to serve more people. Not necessarily everybody wants to go that route. They're like, I have my niche, I got this crew, and it's like, that's good if it works for you and you can make it work. But what I see a lot in fitness and with trainers is they're burnt out. They're tired of doing the same stuff. People have the same complaints, and there's no growth and expansion away from essentially just the physique practice, when a lot of people want the physique, but they also want a lot of the function, and to be able to, when they are 70 and 80, can they continue to move and serve themselves versus have to have their kids now take care of them and put them in a home. I want to be 100, still be able to jump. And
in your opinion, which comes first, physique or functionality?
I think they're hand in hand. It's a lens on where you focus your framework of your program. But I think both have to cross at some point, because you don't have to. You're just gonna be facing some roadblocks and stuff in your life that may be solved when you physically change your practice a little bit, or integrate some other things. And I think we're all kind of stuck, from what I see in certifications and this knowledge base that's in the fitness industry. We're not short of knowledge. What we're short of is camaraderie and teamwork, in terms of, you see it one way, I see it another way. A lot of people are saying the same things, just with their own terminology and their own IP, but it's all pointing back at some principle. Yeah. And they've found techniques which are great to learn, and to now learn somebody else's lens. And it may be very different. In fact, that's probably the best way to go, is go something that's completely off the wall of what you typically do in training, and just see what you can take from it. Not going this is better or worse, but how can I integrate this into an overall framework? And I think that comes down to your own physical practice. And I think there's a lot of trainers out there that don't have a physical practice. They're just practicing others. They're talking the talk, but not necessarily walking that talk.
Never made it their own.
Yeah. And to nobody's blame on that one. I think it's just ourselves of, can we expand this ability to serve? What are we all trying to do? Ask our why of why were we training? And I think a lot of people get into it from their own upbringing and how they trained, and it worked for them and they found success, and they want to share that success. I think where we get caught is we're trying to share our success and have others get their success, and we want to feed off of that, versus what's going to help this person become successful, and can we work together on this and be the bridge for this person, as opposed to, I'm the authority telling you what to do. As a coach, that's part of it, but can you also build this partnership of communication about how we're training and why we're training and why we're doing it this way? A lot of people don't care about it, so don't have to dive in too deep into the weeds. But a lot of people do want to have that deeper meaning in their physical practice, where it doesn't feel so much as often like a chore, but something that is this sacrament, in a sense. Like, we're all given the gift of movement. How do we honor that? How do we express our gratitude for it? And I think it's something that we a lot of times take for granted. I certainly have. And when you're injured or sick, you kind of know, you're like, my God, I just want to be able to walk outside.
Oh, yeah.
And feel good.
And a lot of your clients will go through that. They'll get pregnant. They'll get injured. They'll have something happen where, I have 2 clients right now that just had kids. I have one client that just got her ACL prepared, and so it is imperative to understand how important it is that that's going to happen. That's the other thing. Getting back to what you said with coaches and exactly how everyone seems to find their own niche and sort of stick to it. I love the way your perspective has been shaped and that you believe in almost a collaboration mindset, even with someone who is doing something different. If you're a calisthenics guy, go hang out with a power lifter. They probably have a lot to teach you. And you are probably, if you are somebody, and I find this a lot, if you're a coach and you have a dogmatic framework on your training and that's what you do, and I'll reverse it. I'll say, let's say you're only a powerlifting coach and that's it. And you don't have any interest in learning what the calisthenics guy's about. You have no interest in learning about HIIT, none of that stuff. You are leaving so much on the table just from a knowledge base as a coach. It seems like you and I have very similar methodologies in that they're very encompassing and well-rounded. You and I have taken from a lot of different frameworks in order to make the, template that we employ for our clients. That's important. And I also find a problem, especially today, because it seems as though the only way to make anything on social media happen is if it's somehow weird or strange, which, hey, I've got no problem with that. I mean, I love weird and strange all day long. But what we did here, which I think is very unique to the framework of our company, we made our branding, our uniqueness in areas that are not circulated around our training. My training is very methodical. It's based on a wide range of different people's, tenets, and I put them together for what I think is best for the client. I'm not trying to do a weird or wacky or dangerous movement with my clients so that I can get clout. I'll get my clout from wrapping an ice bath like with Captain America. That's to me, I would much rather get eyes on the prize for something that is cool and fun and unique outside of my training. And it seems like, especially for coaches, people who, hey, maybe they don't have something like this, they don't have a unique brand where they can get that clout in a different direction, they end up doing something weird with their client or only sticking to their own way, and that's it. Everyone else is wrong except for me, and I'm going to stand. And that's how they create controversy, create the comments, the likes, and ultimately build up their platform, is really just based on either shutting off the idea that there's more to offer from the world of kinesiology than what they're doing, or doing something that may in fact get someone hurt.
Yeah, I mean, to the coach's respect too, I think there's a lot, probably every coach out there is an explorer of some kind, and they're putting what they're learning to practice. And a lot of times you can learn kind of those deeper principles just by going so deep into one practice, one art, one style of training that kind of starts to transcend the training of just the physical. And you go, wow, like I've been doing this every day for 10 years. And you give yourself some self-respect and honor that practice. That's a mental and emotional thing too. And I think what's missing is the teamwork in the location that you're working at. And I think there are a lot of coaches that are competing against each other, and which is a very healthy thing, and it makes us all stronger. To what extent are they sharing what they're learning versus withholding that information in order to gain an edge on another coach? And that's, I think, where we start putting the wall and the barrier on ourselves, and where our growth is, because now we're seeing it as like a sales competition, and we're trying to gain the most clients, and now we're burning ourselves out about it, or just not finding the joy that we once did in it, because it's shifted subconsciously potentially into another gear. And so if we can, like at Gymnazo, I love this team so much because we share clients. Like our one-on-ones, we share one-on-ones. We put people in a one-on-one that can now go see somebody 4-on-1 for a much cheaper price and get their exclusive kind of feel with one of our senior level coaches that's a master kinesiologist or applied functional scientist, because they've all gone through Gray. They've also gone through our internal certification and mentorship called the multidimensional movement coach, and that in itself kind of starts to transcend just what you're doing and looking at essentially how you're doing it and where are you pulling this information from. And I think we all have a really cool ability to process pieces and connect dots and put these lines together, but then we think that might be the only truth versus just our vision of what we've put together from our own experience and who we're serving. And so if we can work as a team, essentially, hey, I saw you doing this one thing with that client, like what was that? And open the conversation versus a threat of like, why did you do that? Like that's not what we train here, Have you ever had a confrontation in the gym where somebody did something where
you know it's not right or not safe, or hey, maybe you know something about that client that trainer doesn't. Hey man, that guy just had surgery on his low back. He can't be doing that. Like, has that ever happened? This is unique to me because I don't have another coach in here. This is it's a one guy show. So in a setting where there's more, does that ever come up?
It certainly comes up with our team too, because quite often, because we'll see somebody doing a certain technique with somebody, but we have this bandwidth in the back end to say, instead of going like, that looks wrong, it's like we go in with this questioning and curious mindset of, hey, why did you do that with that client? Notice that they were rounding their back when you want to try to do this hinge, and they express, I saw this too, this is why we made this modification. You just should have seen where they were 4 weeks ago with this. So looking at it as a spectrum of where they've been and where they are, we do a great job as a team asking those questions, and it's an environment where we all go together in that, and we sometimes have to fix ourselves because we're like, oh, I didn't even catch that, thank you for sharing that with me. And you kind of get down on yourself a little bit because like, damn it, that coach, they saw something I didn't see, and they weren't even in that session, you know. But certainly going into other gyms, I've seen no form correction at all, and it's been like, my god, there's missed opportunities here that don't need to be, you're doing it wrong, but more of, I think I'm going to connect with that client after that session and say, hey, I noticed, Sally so and so, that you're low back was grabbing, or you kept touching your back, and I just wanted to ask, are you okay? How did it feel? Did anything bother you in this workout? And there's an opportunity there to upsell that person, hopefully with how you can serve them, because you notice something in their workout that you let them learn and enjoy it and kind of do their thing, but you also are there to kind of guide them along a path to something that might be more effective for them, which is not just going through the motions, but maybe meeting with a coach that's going to help you align with what you're trying to do so that you can actually get the joy out of this, because you're able to communicate to your body. You recognize when you're not in a good position, or rather you recognize when you have poor tension in some kind of funky position, and you know what that feels like because somebody didn't tell you the position to be in, they told you how to feel your body and kind of guided you into that experience. And I think coaches have a great opportunity to do that, but not many are well versed in it.
Yeah, you mentioned that you guys have a business model that encompasses private, semi-private, small group, perhaps larger. What is the difference from the standpoint of the client? Because if I'm a client and I'm considering pricing out some small group, or I'm considering Orange Theory Fit, or I'm considering a private one-on-one, aside from the obvious, which is that one is going to cost more, why is that?
So our ecosystem is essentially, it's one-on-one, the most exclusive it can be. You get the most attention from one coach to you. They're there for you. A lot more opportunity to dive into what other things can be going on and what we're witnessing in their movement and assess them. Then there's the semi-private model, which is 4 athletes to a coach, and that's typically somebody who's already done a one-on-one and assessment. They kind of know the deal and where the program's going to go, and then they hop into a session with potentially 3 other people, and that difference is significant in terms of, I could pay $150 to $200 for an hour, or now I can pay $75 for an hour.
Yeah.
And I kind of know what I'm doing. I don't need as much attention, but I do need my custom work, and I do need some cueing and some specifics. And with this smaller model, you can do it. So they each are on their own custom program. You could have somebody in there from shoulder rehab. They just had a surgery. They did their PT, and now they're cleared, but they're still in pain, and they want to go play pickleball. Okay, let's build a program for that so they can get back and feel the success of the program to go play pickleball and feel confident doing it. Versus, hey, PT says clear you, go play.
Yeah.
Shoulder hurts again. Damn, it's too soon. I wasn't ready. You didn't integrate it back to the function. And then there's the bigger group model, which we have up to about 18 to 24 people in. And that's the general program that isn't just like the workout of the day and it's all randomly put out there and it's different for every coach. I actually go in and create a whole quarter system of programming where we do a month of, it may seem like random stuff, but in the whole mix, we have people come in 3 to 5 days a week. They're going to get the experience of this program the way it's designed to help them gain more function. They feel the crossover when they're hiking or when they're playing on the court or when they're hauling their kids around or getting down and off the ground. It all kind of blends and molds this overall great movement ability and awareness. And so that's the cheapest way to go, but it's also something you can be much more consistent with. It's much cheaper, and you know that this program is also coming from this senior staff of people that deem that this is what's best for this community. And if you come in and show up and do this, you will continue to gain more awareness and more movement and stuff, but you might be missing out on something that you specifically need. So as things pop up, which when you train hard and often, stuff's going to pop up and you do something different or kind of funky, you're like, oh man, do I either rest and take that time all the way off, or can I continue to build my awareness and not have to work that body part or that area or not stress it the way it was in group training? I can now sign up for a one-on-one, see what's going on here, get my recovery program, pop into semi-private, I'm still showing up. And I know that it's pain, but I know that this is going to help me get out of it. I might do it for 4 weeks, 8 weeks, but I'm going to get back in the group. And I can continue this habit, this ritual in a sense of movement and sharing gratitude and doing it with the community. So in that ecosystem, it's 1, it's 4, it's 18 to 24. And then there's a lot of opportunities in there that we basically have a workout of the day, and we just call it strength and cardio for the sake of simplicity, and people sign up. That's what I want to sign up for. We know it's much more of everything. But you come in and, on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you're going to have a strength. On a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, you're going to have a cardio. They're a mix of things, but the general intent is to go heavier, go simpler, do these things and build. They're the ones to get your heart rate up, feel agile.
Absolutely.
And do some quick twitch stuff.
Yeah.
So people know when they're coming in that they can set up their schedule and make it kind of like an exclusive for them. They know what they're getting into. We don't have a huge set of classes that's boxing, it's sculpt, yoga, it's strength, it's cardio, and you're like, man, it's just every day and it's kind of sporadic. We have it consistent so people can be consistent in their ritual.
I like this one. I don't like that one. I'm going to come to the ones that I like.
And they know that the coach is there to help shift that intent. So if they're coming in on a strength day, but they're like, I'm looking to just get my heart rate up and go light and just move. Cool. Let's modify a little bit. Let's tweak it. So all of our coaches have gone through our MDMC, and we all speak a very similar language of movement. That is essentially the spherical movement sense of all these different methodologies and strategies and techniques that we've learned either together or one-on-one we've shared with the team. They're now in our program. And so we need to be able to communicate why are we doing this drill, or what's the deeper layers we can add on for somebody who can handle more coordination. And we speak the framework of spherical movement so that there's all these pieces that seem to have their own logical place in this template of this program, as opposed to we're just doing a WEC method, or we're just doing a sculpt yoga, or these specific methodologies that are tried and true and work, and you do them often, you will get better.
Yeah.
What are we missing out on by only training this? We try to bring it into the mix and help people get there, and they find their place along their journey. Maybe have 3 years in group, and then all of a sudden they did a big event and they twisted an ankle, and they're like, oh shit, what am I going to do? I need to, doctor says I need surgery on the tib and fib. I don't know what's going on. I have a little minor fracture. We're going to see what goes. And they said, hey, just wait it out. And they come in and see us, and we keep them moving and keep them grooving, where they feel like they're still getting a full body workout, but it's safe for them, and they know that they can lean on us.
Training around the injury. Yeah. Along that topic, what are your protocols for recovery? What would you say are the top 2 or 3 active forms of recovery that somebody would do, we'll just say, following an injury?
Yeah. So I guess what we gravitate towards is this concept called melt, mold, and move. That's typically, it depends on how somebody got injured. So just in terms of restoration recovery, why are we recovering, and what are we recovering from, and is this something that's serious, or is this just something that's mentally going on? So we got to kind of define and give that context of like, I'm trying to recover. Okay, how so? Are you just burnt out, stressed out, and your body's shutting down? Okay, we probably need to, let's get you in some deprivation tank and some quiet. Let's get you into, we have that across the street from us at Gymnazo. We recommend them all the time. Like, just give yourself an hour to be in a room, have the lights on or have music on or don't, and just be processing your space.
Void of stimulation.
Yeah, and sometimes that's all that's needed, and somebody's just like, I'm going to put this as my monthly ritual. Once a month, I'm going to do this.
Plus, you mix that with the fact that those tanks have pounds of Epsom salt, magnesium. It's so good for the body.
Into your body.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a twofold layer of recovery that happens when you do that sort of therapy, and I've really come to appreciate it since we got one. The fact that you have a anatomical need to relax. We do it every night when we sleep, but even in your bed, even in your most comfortable state, you cannot reach the buoyancy that you do inside of that tank, and the physical benefits of all that magnesium just soaking into your muscles. It's just, you've never felt that relaxed in your entire life. Then you couple that with the sensory deprivation, which is really what I gravitate toward. And having one here, I've been able to really kind of tinker with it. I've tried no eye mask. I've tried music, no music. For me, it's pitch darkness, earplugs, no music, the sound of your heartbeat, the sound of your breath, and the sound of your thoughts. And what I like to describe it as, for those not familiar with it, it is still relatively non-common, I think, especially even in high-level athletics. It's not a huge demand like it seems like ice bath and sauna have been for the last few years. You will reach the point, almost the precipice of sleep, where you're not dead asleep, but you're fading, and it will kind of just keep you there. And then what I describe as the true out-of-body experience is you will get there, and then all of a sudden, the 1 hour alarm will go off, and you're like, "You're kid, that was an hour? That's crazy." And you get out, and then you just feel great.
What an amazing feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this spot called Central Coast Floats across the street from us, and they have a big chamber that's like it could fit 2 people in it in one of their tanks.
2 people floating together.
Yeah, it's something I wouldn't do, man. I don't know.
I don't think I would either.
I want my space. I want it to just be like, I got nothing.
I mean, would you
here.
go in there with wifey or
Oh,
girlfriend?
I would.
I mean,
Sure,
would you?
I would.
Yeah.
See my wife. Yeah, it wouldn't be for me.
Yeah, it would be kind of a. That is interesting.
But maybe
I
something.
definitely wouldn't go in there with
that.
somebody that wasn't my wife. Like that'd be weird, man. That'd be odd.
No, you schedule it for you're like, oh,
Yeah.
who's popping in here?
She's just
Could be
gonna-
anybody today.
Can you imagine how
man.
if that was their
What a
like, oh,
model.
yeah, you and some other person.
It's kind of like blind dating, but you're literally blind.
Literally blind. You can't see it. You can't tell who it is or what they. Oh man, that's odd. Yeah,
Just
no,
feel
I've
their
never
aura.
heard of that. I mean, it's for those listening. It's usually a solo act. It's a one like you're by yourself.
So
usually.
in this tub,
Yeah, in the tub.
I fell asleep in it.
Yeah.
Woke up, lights came on. There's no door. I turned around 180 degrees. And I was so out of it that I was like, I didn't trip out, but I was kind of like, huh, there's no door now.
Oh, that would freak
I must
me
be
out.
dreaming. And then I was like, oh my god, I spun around because I'm a short statured guy. I just spin around in there pretty easy. I didn't realize that could happen.
I didn't realize that could happen
It
either.
was insane. Yeah.
Well, some of those tanks are larger. The one we have is a single model
all
designed
you
for you
need,
to
really.
only
Yeah.
go in one direction. But I've seen some of the ones. They're like the size of
It's
this
an igloo.
room. Yeah, it's a giant dome, and you can go in there, and I could see how you could turn around, float around, and end up in the wrong place. But it's not, and that's the other thing. The concern is for claustrophobia. People who when I talk about this, they're like, "Don't you feel claustrophobic with that lid over you?" I'm like, dude, you have an eye mask on. You can't see anything. It's not like once you just kind of get past the idea. Like, do you feel claustrophobic when you're in your bed with the mask on? Because it feels exactly the same. It doesn't even matter.
Also
if
with
it's-
yours too, though, you could have the lid flipped open, and you could be like, get the eye mask there, just check, and it could be a great therapeutic sense of
you
getting over your
can.
claustrophobia.
Though what I've noticed is that because I've tried. That's one of the ways I messed with it because I had that complaint from clients. They wanted to know if they could leave the lid open. It doesn't. When the lid is closed, the entire thing creates a 98-degree temperature dome. It is exactly the same body temperature as you. With the lid open, you're subject to get an occasional breeze. There's going to be maybe a leaf falls. Ours is outdoors too, so you do have a bit of a distraction if the lid is open. But with it closed,
That's the real deal.
you don't have anything. Nothing. And it's incredible. That's one of them. Have you played around with contrast therapy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I could do it more. I wish I had a sauna and a cold plunge at my house because I would be literally doing it probably morning and night, to some extent, But when I visited on it was my real I was like, hey, I get to go at my pace. I could pop into the sauna.
Did you train with John?
No, I just popped in and met with Jared and he's my one of my kettlebell coaches for kettlebell juggling and stuff.
Maybe I know
crazy
Jared.
trainer.
What? Oh,
Crazy.
he's coming here.
No way!
Yeah, dude, he's
No,
coming here in
man.
like a week. When is he
Son of a
coming
man.
here? Hang on.
He's the man.
Shout
Love
out.
that
Yo,
guy.
we should call him.
He's absolutely crazy.
He's doing some crazy stuff. Have you seen this guy, Jake?
The crazy trainer, man.
The crazy trainer. Look at him dancing around with these things. He's like what Nsima wants to be
you're
when
gonna see a
Nsima
butt
grows
here in a
up.
second. Here's a butt. Ready?
Yeah, I've
There's a
seen
butt.
him.
That's insane, man. With bare feet too. If you drop
That's
that
the way. You don't drop. I don't know.
I know.
haven't dropped
I
it.
look. I know. They don't drop it. I would be worried that I would drop it.
No, we drop it all the time. It's just you see us, not dropping it. When you're in that flow zone, baby. You're like, I could go all day.
I just love seeing all the different. I got to get him to bring.
Those two are some magical human beings. Love those.
So you
guys.
got so I don't know Justin. At least I don't think I don't. Not yet.
Nirvana.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Man, Onnit has just got a great.
They got some crew. They got people.
They got
out
a
there, man.
cool
It's a good
crew,
time.
and it's not like everybody there is in Austin. I mean, I would assume he is in Austin
He's in
because
Austin
he's
now,
always
Look at that
filming.
big
in here.
afty man. He's insane.
And then you got the guy in the background. What's his name again? The war or Manimal or what? Dang it! Primal Soldier. Soldier. Have you seen that guy?
Oh yeah, I don't think that's him. He's usually there though.
Is that not? I could have sworn that was him.
He's
Primal.
He's a little beefier. Yeah.
Soldier.
Yeah. There you go.
Eric. That's
Good
his
dude.
name. You know him too?
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah, he seems like he knows what he's doing. He's got. I mean, he was probably the first, other than Aubrey. He's probably the first athlete I saw representing Onnit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Onnit's been around for a while.
Yeah, man. So I went sauna, 20 minutes at like 190, and then go to the cold plunge for a few minutes. And that first plunge, I could not stop spinning. It was like this super, not nauseating kind of a spin, but like hey, bro, you're going through it. hang out here.
You did sauna first, then
Sauna,
ice.
then ice, then
Okay.
sauna, then ice, then sauna.
And for
then
how
ice.
long was the
So
ice?
it was like a 20, then a 4.
In a 4.
And
Yeah.
2 minutes, I was like, fuck, 2 more minutes.
Yeah,
Like,
your
I
vision
was
starts
just-
rolling.
Yeah, and so
Yeah,
then I
you
was like,
start
hey, let's
rolling.
go back in the sauna for just to recompose.
Yeah.
Did that for 10 minutes, popped in for 3 minutes in the tank, went back to the sauna for 10,
Yeah.
and then back for 2. And yeah, I felt alive, man. I was like, I worked out like 3 days in a row. I was going hard. Couple, just being out on it. You're working out all the time.
Oh my gosh, have you seen this
Stay in the
page?
gym.
I'm sorry, I'm distracted by my own Instagram. Nature is metal. I'm afraid of what's going to happen. This page, you never know. Have you seen this page before?
No.
Dude, Nature is Metal is the craziest Instagram page ever. That thing is liable to spin around and bite him in half. In this page, you don't know what will happen because a lot of times it's video
You see some
footage.
gore, right? I think this is one of those that you get gore sometimes.
Oh, it
Did it get him?
almost got him. It didn't get him. It almost did. Oh wait, no! Oh my
Oh,
God.
it did get him.
Oh, it did get him.
Jesus.
Oh no way! No! They're not gonna. Oh no! It's got him. Oh, it's got him. Dude, what are they gonna do? I haven't seen this. Dude, get out of there.
He
Get
got
out. Get
out
out.
of
He
it.
got out.
What?
Oh, come on. Oh, that's a mulligan.
I don't know what drives a person to go touch a gator.
I don't know what drives a
Crocodile.
person. I don't
know what
either.
was. I don't
That
know the
was.
difference. Croc.
I'm kind of happy I found that just now. I love that page so much. That is
We're
the
talking about
craziest
adrenaline.
stuff. Oh man, exactly what you said. What drives a person to get into that cage and do something like that? You ever seen that you remember the crocodile hunter?
Yeah.
From back. How old are you?
I'm 31.
I'm 33. You're the youngest guy in here. Congrats.
Let's go, baby.
But you're old enough to remember
Jared will be
Steve
the youngest
Irwin.
next. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Dude, and this guy, predated social media. He was doing all that crazy shit before, like on access cable television. And now, what's crazy, his son, I don't know if you've seen this, his son is like 19, 20, maybe 21.
Carrying the-
doing
carrying
the
the legacy.
same thing. He's carrying the flag. Have you seen this? He's like jumping into the
I think
jumping
more
into the
so.
gator
He
thing.
stepped into a new level.
He's trying. You have to, because now there's like all this pressure. Is he going to be like his dad? Is he going to die like his? Oh, man,
hope not.
we hope not. Yeah. Oh man, what a crazy life. Oh man, but yeah, dude, I love seeing the stuff you guys are doing, and especially your page and everything with the training. What has been the biggest influence in the last? We'll just say in the last 3 to 5 years, because I know you've been doing it as long as I have. Is there a coach, somebody maybe that even a social media guy that you've really latched onto? And because there's a lot of times on social media, it's hard to know which ones are right, which ones aren't. Is there somebody that you really like, that you gravitate towards? You're like, man, I really like his movements.
There's one dude, DJ Murakami, Strong Camps.
Okay, I'm pulling him up
So
right
much
now.
respect for him because he is
DJ M. How do you spell it?
Muraka.
We'll see if he just pops right up.
It's the first
Strong
one, right?
Camps right there. I'm so happy I asked this question because I don't know this guy.
This
okay,
is the man.
So why is he the man? What's he doing?
He's so calm. He's not one of those influencers that's like, look
how
what I'm
fascinating.
doing, check us out. He's like, hey, check out what I can do. Consider how it's done. Go try it for yourself. And he does a lot of R&D. He's got a whole crew that he does some
Is he in a
different
garage
tests.
gym?
He's kind of everywhere. He's down in California.
Oh,
Southern
good
California.
for him.
But,
How has your location been for coaching and whatnot? I mean, in California, there's obviously, like I said, Mark Bell's 5 hours from you. I
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily say he's in your market, but do you have some big name guys like this down by you?
in Slow, not so much.
Not so
you know,
much.
it's a very quiet town, and people kind of stay in this Slow area, Slow County.
I love this.
Everything's more down in San Diego or up in the Bay. That's
Yeah.
the bigger city stuff.
Sure.
LA.
I'm trying to think who's
Yeah.
down in San Diego, like big coaches.
Chuck Liddell's in Slow, isn't he?
Yeah, he's based out of there.
Is he
Yeah.
really?
He rested up all, yeah.
Still?
I don't know if he's still there.
If
Pops
he
through.
is-
we hear about him popping through every once in a
I'd
while.
love that if he stayed there even
Nice
after all
man,
the
dude.
money and fame. Oh man, he was the man. Like him, Forrest Griffin, just all the OGs. I just loved the UFC back then. I love the UFC now, but I loved the
different.
UFC back then. Have you had any interaction training those guys? Any professional fighters make their way through your
No.
program or nothing yet?
No, you typically go down south or up north.
Mm-hmm.
Slow's kind of a little unheard of spot. You kind of just drive through it, especially when you're doing the 101 drive or the Highway 1, rather, and you just kind of pop through it, and you got like Morro Bay and Avila and Pismo
Yeah.
Beach kind of on either side. So it's just kind of like you go from one beach to another. But Slow is just this beautiful, beautiful little town.
Sick. Yeah, on the topic of proprioception, because you mentioned that earlier, and I did notice the barefoot wear. That's awesome. What got you into that? I mean, for those not knowing, the hands and the feet are the first things we engage whenever we move, no matter what it is we're doing typically. And the ability to communicate with the rest of the body is where we open the conversation for the strength of our proprioceptors, our hands and our feet. What do you do specifically for your feet to increase that?
Man, so when I was a junior or senior in high school, I lived up in Sacramento, actually, and took my shoes off for a summer run, preseason wrestling with my co-captain, and we got 8 miles barefoot. Well, it was in the heat of summer. It's 110 degrees and
Sounds
asphalt,
horrible.
and we're just seniors in high school, fucking around, and we took a barefoot run, and I had blisters on my feet for 6 months. Had to tape them up during the season,
Oh my God.
and it ignited this what have I done? Have I broken my feet? So I was very in tune with how my feet were feeling because I had to tape them up, pad them up, and had them in my shoes. Nobody really knew, but it was nasty. It's the same thing with my co-captain. You got to tape them up. We had athletic tape just to create a barrier.
Jeez.
The sock, and then
Yeah.
it got rubbed open. I'd say that was probably the first I really thought about my feet and the feeling and how my body has to adapt and walk a little differently, because now it's getting kind of funky when I'm putting pressure on this blister and I don't want to pop. I got to wrestle tonight. I got to try to keep this thing safe as possible. And then through college, I kind of did a bit of, walking around campus barefoot, skating around from class to class.
I can see that.
I like this. This is just, it feels so free and kind of rebellious, but also it feels good. Like I'm not doing this to show off or anything or bring attention to my feet. But people have a weird thing with feet, man. They're like, oh my God, your feet are showing.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, your shoes are showing. Like,
Yeah.
take them off, dude. So it kind of made me aware of just this disconnect with people and their feet, and
We've been conditioned.
I was like, man,
Yeah.
I don't even think about it like that. Like, ooh, feet. I mean, there's some nasty feet out there, but I wasn't
doubt.
thinking about this. And the whole proprioception talk really came through a little bit in kinesiology at Poly, but we didn't dive too deep into how to actually apply it. It was just, here's the proprioceptors, here's what they do, and it's all theory, and this is what we think about it, and here's the stuff that we know is true, and here's the stuff that's not. So, and it really clicked. And then I came to Gymnazo, and it was all based on proprioceptive training and being aware that angulation does matter in terms of proprioceptive awareness and load and momentum, and sometimes going slow versus going fast. We're taught that it does certain things for the muscles, but we're not necessarily taught about the proprioceptors and how, when we engage them, it can amplify our training beyond just the musculature, but in our own coordination and sure-footedness and confidence and recognition and skill acquisition. You can, if you work the proprioceptors first and just consider them all the time in terms of the speed or the rate and the duration you're taxing them, time under tension, and again, in what direction you're going, what plane of motion. Like, your body's really smart. The muscles are smart too, but they just know what we teach them to contract and to eccentrically elongate, essentially. But when you bring the proprioceptor to the mix, we're essentially engaging a lot of the deeper fascial lines and this awareness of how we globally are accomplishing movement. And that made sense to me because when I was wrestling and in season, I could jump higher. I was stronger. I felt like I had crazy coordination and kind of the sixth sense of just, I knew where my body was going to be in space. And you're rolling around in chain wrestling, you got to have that proprioception, because you can't just muscle somebody. You got to have the technique to recognize the leverage when you're rolling. That person might stick a foot out or a hand out, and can I react quick enough so that I can catch them versus they catch me? And it kind of made sense when I was training, and it made it way more fun. And it was kind of like a game of, I'm going to test my proprioception today in a new angle, and I'm going to be awkward at first, and I know that. I'm okay with that. But after about 15, 30 reps, I should be able to engage myself in a bit differently, or have this conversation of what's going to make this tension better to accomplish this task. Reaching this weight, not directly overhead. I'm going at 35 degrees with a much lighter load, but why can't I fully extend my arm? It's only, whatever weight it is, the light weight. Why can't I get it there? How can I engage my body to create leverage to then hold that position? And this is also kind of the time when I didn't recognize it then, but now I reflect back on it. It's just saying that I was working a lot with the coiling core and kind of what Weck method was going into, but without their terminology, but just the communication without words, but in feeling and sensation of, I can do this better. And seeing other, not just myself, but being able to coach people through that, I was like, wow, this is really powerful. And I don't have to talk to all the science. I can just talk to somebody's body, and I know their body communication when their proprioception's off, and they get freaked out and fearful and they don't want to do it again. And we just make a little cue adjustment, and all of a sudden they're perfect. And like, oh, what was that? That's proprioception and your awareness of where you're at in space.
Sure. Is barefoot Are barefoot shoes the only way to strengthen your feet?
No, but it's a great way. I mean, just walking around barefoot. But stand on nails. I don't recommend doing that unless you want to do that.
What do they call that? There's a board.
Sadu board.
That's it.
Yeah,
It's literal
saying
nails.
that correct, but yeah, sadu.
Yeah, but
sadu.
it's like dozens and dozens of nails,
Yeah.
right?
So
it's
it
not
equally
like,
displaces your weight on there. So you're not going to puncture yourself unless you try to.
Yeah.
But you stand on. They start it with a balloon on it. Putting it on, it's like the balloon doesn't pop because it's spread the surface tension.
they have ones you sleep on too. They have like a bed of nails. You ever slept?
I've never slept on
You
a bed
seem
of
like the
nails,
type of
but
guy
I
who
would
would sleep
if I
on a
found
bed of nails.
I would. So I have a back mat it's actually metal nails from Gravity Mind boards. They create the most beautiful.
What's it called?
Gravity Mind boards. You can check them out.
Yeah, let me look.
They're based in Southern California as well, and they
Gravity Mind
Mind
boards. Let's see if they just pop right up.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
there.
Here we go.
So they've got. I mean, look at the design on that first one. I feed off of like those symbols and stuff. So if I know I'm standing on that, I just feel.
Oh my
connected.
goodness!
Look at the balloon. See, no pop, dude. What? Is that AI? There's no way that's real, right? No, it's real, dude.
Because it's dispersing the weight.
Displace, yeah.
It's displacing the object. It's not. I love the wood, the design on
Yeah,
this. It's just so,
they do an amazing job.
okay, so they've got it for the feet.
Oh, that's my boy
obviously.
Nick. Yeah, he's doing some one of our protocols there. Coil
Is he-
rope.
is he-
So
was
he's
he just using a
doing,
band?
Yeah, he's doing spherical movement. That's a mace, and then he's gonna grab his coil rope and he's gonna do some spherical movement and align his tension while his body's fighting the nails. He's learning to surrender to not fight anymore and settle his tension. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. I love this. I got to reach out to them. Huh, will that one pop the balloon?
Right? When you try to puncture something, you could probably puncture it.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty hardcore.
So I usually do like 30 minutes to an hour. And I do that once a week. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. Well, that's great, man.
So that's one way to recognize that your feet are way more powerful than you think because you stand on it. I got people with dainty feet that go step on it. And they're like, I don't call my feet dainty anymore. I just stood on nails for 10 minutes. And I got people with really strong feet that go stand on that. And they're like,
ow.
I can't handle it because it's this emotional stress response. Kind of like when you jump in a cold plunge and you're like, oh, just let go, breathe. You're going to be fine. But if you fight it, it's going to be worse.
Absolutely.
And you're going to have to let go at some point or get out. But if you can let go, you can actually spend quality time in there. You start to go inward and check in with your body and bring that heat to your internal center. With this, it's very similar sensation initially of like the shock. But if you're able to breathe through and fully exhale and recognize the air going through your feet and not physically, but you're sensing your body dropping downward and rooting, it gets sharp, it gets uncomfortable. And in that space, we can either fight back, which is going to hurt more, or give into it, knowing that it's not going to hurt you. The hardest part is recognizing that knowing. And it's kind of the real feeling of trust and surrender. You got to trust these things aren't going to stab your feet. You're not going to get all bloody. And you got to surrender to your own tension.
Yeah.
So
your body's capable of a lot more than your mind will lead on.
Yeah.
And it'll always surpass it. That's the other thing.
But you just going barefoot in your house. That's a great way to strengthen your feet, man. I don't know what the rules are at work and stuff, but for me, I'm like barefoot half the time. My Vivo's on or whatever barefoot shoe I'm in.
Yeah. What do you recommend if someone was to try the barefoot shoe direction?
I would go the Vivo route just because of their policy with the you get basically like 2 or 3 months of it. If you don't like them, send them back.
Is that it? You ever tried Shamas? I see you're in sandals.
Shama sandals?
Shama sandals, yeah.
No, I've never been in. Dude, I'm tried and true Earth Runners. It's between the toe for me.
Is that what they do? They do that too.
They do it
the
too?
one, yeah. The ones I wear when I go trail running have the between the toe, like the thong thing.
This thing with the copper on the bottom, though, that's what they got me. I'm like, I don't know how.
Let me see it. Oh, is it? For grounding. Yeah, grounding.
Yeah.
I have. You ever heard of the grounding company?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have their sheets, their pillowcases, and everything. They plug into the friggin' wall.
Beautiful thing, especially for people that don't have access to ground. Like you're just in an industrial garden.
Yeah,
Go get those sheets, dude.
it's
Powerful
crazy.
stuff.
I mean, and the big question I get asked about that mainly by you is, do you feel a difference? Maybe. I think.
Yeah, but you're also active outdoors. You're getting red light. You're getting so many things.
Yeah, I believe that it's making a difference. Can I prove it systematically? Maybe not. But if I believe that it's making a difference, I'm more excited to go to sleep. I'm going to sleep better. And I do so much for sleep. That's the other thing. It's one of 4 different tasks that I go through. I don't even have light in my house at night. It's all red light bulbs. So I do the mindful mask.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's literally, I mean, you can just go on Amazon, find the red light bulbs like they use in like, I don't know, clown stores and just put them into your little floodlights.
It works like that. It's all good. You're getting the hues.
It's better than the white light.
Yeah,
I found
for sure,
because at the
for
end of the day, I mean, if you can go with like little or no light, that's the best. But if I have to turn on a light, I'd much rather turn on those, which do not. It's not like you're gonna have a bright room like this, but it's easier on the eyes, especially in the twilight hours right before you're about to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
so here's the proof for you too. This is proof enough for me. I had the grounding mats plugged in to the little negative charge outlet. Read the book of Earthing and by I think Clint Oberman or something. But it was this beautifully put book of like the science is here, but it's really hard to get people to want to just understand this because you just put your feet on the earth. It can't be that easy. There's something about that charge. I mean, my dogs, when I had it in my house, the mat, they would go sleep on that. They would never sleep under my desk. I plug that in, they're under my desk. If they're tapping into that, my dogs like to be outside and on the ground. Like they're going to find this shadowy spot or they're going to find the sunny spot and they're going to be somewhere on the earth. They love that. And
yeah, they do.
They don't find that in the house, but all of a sudden it's plugged in. They don't ever go in there.
That's not a bad idea, actually. You're gonna have to tell me where you got that for, because I have a puppy in there. I would love to get him a mat that's grounded. I bet they love it.
Yeah.
I'll definitely get that information
What's
from you.
going on here?
Speaking of that,
Maybe just a mat. I don't know. Maybe they just saw a black thing. Like I'm gonna lay on that.
We about to go get this hike. You ready for that, man? Yeah. Flat iron. It's gonna be a blast.
I've never done it, so I've never looked at it.
I'm pretty excited to show you. It's the steepest incline in the state.
Let's go.
It's bigger even than the Grand Canyon. That incline step for step is the toughest one.
What's the distance?
It's gonna be 3 miles up, 3 miles down, I think. Yeah. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, like 2.75, something like that.
Perfect. Yeah.
Let's
you ready?
go, baby. I'm so in.
Let's do it. All right. Hey, thanks for coming on, bud. Really appreciate
Absolutely
it.
appreciate
That
it.
was a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for watching that episode of Becoming the 1% Podcast. If you like the content and you want to see more of it, hit the like and subscribe. Activate that notification bell as well. We really appreciate it. If you guys want to see more of it, we actually have the Becoming the 1% Instagram, and the podcast is available on Spotify. For our socials, we have Strict Vision Athletics on Instagram, we have it on YouTube, and we have it on TikTok.